All right, we are live and on air. Welcome, everybody. I am broadcasting live from the Gulf of Mexico in a library in Destin, Florida. Taking a break away from the beach to go ahead and give some feedback and on your landing pages. It's the hot part of the day. Don't want to be outside right now anyway. I'll go back out later in the afternoon. So if you are looking for landing page reviews, you are in the right place. So myself and Izzy are going to jump through a bunch of landing pages today that you've submitted over the last couple of weeks. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and we've got a nice backlog of pages to go through. Couple things. We like to do these live to get feedback from people and to hear people's comments. And so if you're in the chat, introduce yourself. Say hello. If you submitted a page for review and you're in the chat, let us know to make sure we can get to your page. We will prioritize people who are attending live. If you're watching this video and said like, oh, I thought you'd get to my landing page and you weren't there, we didn't get to your page, we will keep a backlog. We can look at pages in the future, and we will do this again, if not next week, then the week after. One of the next couple of weeks, we'll keep using this marketing chat time to review landing pages. With me today, as always, is Izzy. Do you want to say hi, Izzy? Izzy's on mute.
Sorry.
Saying hi.
Yeah, sorry about that. Actually, was having some trouble here. Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Super thrilled to be looking at some more landing pages today. I know it's been a while, so we have quite a large backlog of pages, as Josh mentioned, but we'll be getting through as many as we can, and looking forward to review your pages. I'm thrilled. I love doing these reviews.
All right, let's get started. I will go ahead and share my screen, and we will take a look at the first page. So, share screen. All right. I'm going to start with joinlotusland.com. And so right away, it's a page with an animated video background. And we did recently ship a theme for this. It is not using our theme, but it's a very simple page showing the background, kind of showing some like very interesting destinations, I would say. And the first couple things I notice is this big button that says get early access. So that's great. I saw the call to action first. Lotus Land, 40 to 50% off condos, stop paying inflated prices for real estate. Very clear, easy to read, large headline, get early access. The call to action screams attention. So I think that is great. Simple explanation. Lotus Land, 40 to 50% off condos is a great explanation. Stop paying inflated prices for real estate. What's missing on this page, I think, is an incentive for signing up. So below, you've got tiny text below the button that says by invitation only. It's hard to read that. It might make more sense to stand out saying like, is there a reason to click get early access? Like, sometimes when you're so outward about get early access, a reaction that people have is, well, there's nothing here for me now, so why should I sign up? And because you're very obvious that it's early, you haven't launched yet, and so I would consider what can you do to give people incentive to look at to click the get early access button. Before I look at that, I'm going to scroll down the page, see what else is here. Locals finally get to invest in their own backyard. Okay. Be the first to stop paying inflated prices for condos. Okay, so you're helping people buy a condo, not for renting a condo. I think that would make that a little bit more clear. I guess you're saying prices for real estate. When I hear about condos, I think about or leasing. People looking for a condo, but not necessarily to purchase. And so maybe that's something to clarify. But if you went and emailed 4 to 5 of your potential customers and had them look at the headline, they would tell you right away whether or not it gets across. I'm maybe not the right market, but that was my confusion. And so I would wonder if anybody else has this confusion. I'm seeing a lot of notes about being in the Metro Vancouver neighborhood. I would actually use that to your advantage. And so in this top, I would say, you know, something include the location. Stop paying inflated prices for real estate for condos in Vancouver. Like, I would think about that, because although it niches things down, it sounds like you really want to find those first customers, even if your ultimate world domination plan is to expand beyond Vancouver, maybe down into Seattle or, you know, across to Toronto. Like, if your plan is to expand, that's fine. But if you're looking for these early access beta customers, you might want to consider niching it down and really speaking to them. Because if you know you want to target somebody in Vancouver, you can do a lot with the copy like you've done below to really speak to people, to really motivate them, people who live in Vancouver, that this is going to be great for you. Maybe other people are missing out and they might want to sign up because they're missing out, but you'll have people say, oh, this is really for real estate in Vancouver. I'm definitely going to sign up because I'm interested in real estate in Vancouver. So I would think about that as a trick for getting the first few signups. Let's go ahead and see what happens when I click Get Early Access. All right, so I click Get Early Access, and the call to actions match, which is great. Get Early Access, and then it says, if you're selected for the beta program, you will receive an email with further instructions. Access to the beta program is limited to local investors and is not guaranteed. And this is why I would really be upfront about talking to local investors and who the product is for in those headlines on the first page, because you should have me getting out of it before I even click this button, because I'm not the right person to get in. But you could speak more clearly to local Vancouver real estate investors in that opening message on the page with the couple sentences of space you have there. The other thing, as I mentioned before, there still is not an incentive. Like, you're basically saying, we're better than you, and we're going to choose whether or not you get into the beta program. And at which point I'm kind of saying, you know what? I'm the customer. I either want something, or you're going to give me something, or I'm just going to leave. And so I'd really consider what you're doing, how you're wording this. Instead of saying, if you're selected for the beta program, it's more like, you'll have an opportunity to participate in the beta program, rather than the negative of, if we select you and if you're important enough. So let's see what happens if I get through all that. Enter my email address and click Get Early Access. All right, so I get taken to one of our new pages, a simple waitlist page, and it says your spot in line. You've been added to the waitlist. On this page, I would really consider the logo and copy that reinforces what you're on the waitlist for. Just in case people share it, I would really consider like making it clear, because to you, you know that you landed on the thank you page that's for this product, but you really want to connect the user experience of saying, this is a whole campaign. It's not just one page. That first page has a job to get people to click the button to the right people. The pop-up has a job, that its job is to convince people that it's worth entering their email address with a great incentive or a reason why now that they've opted in. And this page is to remind them what they signed up for and what happens next. And so you've got a wait list. I can see there's 21 people ahead of me. There's one person behind me. And you've got the skipping the line requires 3. So if I share it with 3 friends, I can skip the line or get in front. You can make that clear in the copy up front. You can make that clear, like, do you want to use Lotus Land before anyone else? Question mark. Refer 3 friends and skip the wait list. Otherwise, here's the wait list. And your sharing links are below. I'd really just consider tying this page into the previous one on the previous form that popped up, making it clear that people are going to be added to the wait list, but you'll have a chance to get into the beta by referring 3 people to get into the beta. I would make that clear up front. And so you're setting expectations, giving them an incentive, and then on this page, meeting those expectations, saying, as we said, we're going to put you on the wait list, but if you want to skip it, here's how you do it. And the wait list is for this. And if you are this kind of person, you're going to love it. It's reminding people with some brand message, reminding people about what the product is about, so that they don't have to keep thinking about it and remembering it. To you, that's obvious, but to somebody who just visited your page, People imagine they have the attention span of a goldfish. They've got 1 or 2 seconds, and then the next 2 seconds, you've got to re-grab their attention. When you switch pages, you have to re-grab their attention and remind them that that it's for them. That's my feedback. Izzy, did you have any feedback on this this page in the series beyond that?
Not super specifically. You went pretty in depth. I guess the only feedback that I kind of agreed with, somebody in the chat said that what was it? Well, they were kind of concerned with like all the video stuff and like there's just a lot of content on the actual page. There seems to be like a jQuery, like a scroll plugin as well. So they're just a little bit concerned with the actual page speed. Sometimes having a background video and then having all kinds of content and all kinds of jQuery effects, it can slow down your page, and it'll just give it'll give the users like just an off experience. They won't feel as if it's like a fluid page. So that's just my only bit of feedback.
Yeah. I agree, and I've always told people with the video backgrounds, they might have a good market for it, is you might want to try testing that opening page against a much simpler page with just a single static image and a message, and testing to see which does better in terms of conversions, because you might be surprised which does better. That the fancy page with the rest of the information, it doesn't even seem like on that first page you could scroll. When I'm looking at it, and so I might not even try and scroll. And so I wonder how many people really are scrolling down through this. And then, like Izzy said, on my machine, which is a pretty good computer, I mean, I can see it's jumping and it's kind of the animations and the scroll effects are slowing down the browser, which is just, it can turn people off. It looks pretty, but sometimes the effects can turn people off. I agree with that. Izzy, do you want to go ahead and talk about it? The next I had up was to get to another quick review for Mike at Comfortable Boxers.
Sure. Okay, let me go ahead and grab the page that Mike submitted for us. It was
prelaunch.comfortableboxers.com.
Perfect. Okay. So we're opening up Mike. Hey, Mike, great to have you here with us again. And as always, we know Mike is going to have a very well-designed page because Mike knows a lot about conversion marketing, about conversion design. I'll go ahead and share a link to an interview that we did with Mike a few weeks ago. And but let's take a look at the page. Basically, first thing that jumps out at me are these images, guys in their boxers. So super obviously what it is, and on the text here, men's boxer briefs. So there's no mistake as to what's going on this page, as to if you've arrived from an ad or from some other context. I mean, it's pretty clear what this page is about. I like how the actual images are laid out, one right underneath the other, so like each section doesn't have you switching around. I know there's like a current trend of having your text and your images zigzagged, but I personally like this format. I think that it's easier to read, and it's also easier on the eyes. So if you're presenting 3 sections of information, it's a lot easier for me to look at these headlines and to see what's going on. So I'm looking at blissfully comfortable men's boxer briefs. I like this adjective, blissfully makes it seem like it's, well, I've read about comfortable boxers, and I know this story. So this automatically tells you that there's a little bit different than like normal boxer briefs. So let me take a look at the rest of the page. Lasting comfort from quality craftsmanship. Like I said, the sections are laid out nicely. Let me see what happens when I click enter inside. It'll just take me to the form. Overall, I mean, this is a great page. This is for your Kickstarter campaign. So the only mention of the actual Kickstarter is just here at the top, just a small mention. And if I was actually going to kind of click away, and it did. And a bounce widget, actually one of our new bounce widgets. This is a KickoffLabs exit intents. This will pop up and it'll tell me, if I'm about to abandon the page, it'll tell me, this is my last chance to sign up. Sign up if you want to. But let me take a look at this one. Actually, I want to take a look at this image here, and I wanted to show you guys. I really like how Mike. Hopefully, it's not going to warp my video sharing, but I like how Mike tends to tends to create images that are very well spaced. So they'll like shrink down for a mobile device extremely well. I mean, you can see here that the image shrinks down. It still looks good. The text is still readable. I believe that the image itself is probably sized like around 600 or like 800 pixels wide. So just consider that. Like if you're going to be using any kind of image, you can see that this, all this text here is just a big image, which is okay because it's a landing page. I used to think that landing pages should have nothing but text, just so like Google and all these search engines can actually read them. But in reality, since they are landing pages, I mean, they're temporary campaigns. They're not going to be, they're not pages that are going to be up indefinitely. So these are campaigns, and it's okay to use just images for your text. It's totally okay. I'll go ahead and sign up on a page. Let's see what happens. I like the enter inside as well. Like they're using different kind of call to action text. It's not the basic submit text. Enter inside kind of coincides with this little key here. So I'm going to go ahead and type my email and enter inside campaign. Let's unlock the campaign. And here we go. Just a great thank you page. Well, this is one of our standard thank you pages. I believe that Mike has been using this page in the past, so it looks it looks good with his site. It works well with his business. It's really hard to, honestly, it's very hard to find things that are bad with this page, Mike, because your page is just so well done, and they've always been so well done. Josh, what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I like Mike's pages. If I could change anything, I think the first page. I'm gonna go back and show you guys on my screen. So I'll show my screen so I can do that. Sorry, give me a second to share the screen again. Yeah, on this page, you'll notice like the model and the picture. I mean, it's small things like the model and the picture is centered with the text. And I think it'd be better to have it where the person is on the right side or the left side looking down at the copy that's here, rather than just it all being jumbled in the page and you've got all this space over on the left side or the right side that's not really being used because it feels like it's a really crunch page. So just design-wise, that's a small thing. A lot of the images that we're rotating on the first are like that. So if you notice on the first page, here he is off to the left. Well, there he's centered. The model is off to the left looking down at the center of the page. Here it's centered. I would really consider cropping those shots a bit so they're more like this first image where it's the guy on the left or the right looking down onto the form. So not everything visually is cramped into the one thing. That'd be my one adjustment that I would make that I would make to the page here and the thank you page. I'm going to move on to the next page then, and I want to move on to print parts. I want to leave this up. I try to leave the page, and I got this this pop-up. Really good use. A lot of people I've noticed are making really good use of the exit intent widget at KickoffLabs, and this is another person doing that. Last chance to win a MakerBot. So forget about if I win the page yet. Like the market that they were going for understands what a MakerBot is, and it's a chance to win it, and then give a usage for what they do. Like, I need to print parts. He's asking for some feedback there, and then I could enter the launch contest. I won't enter here. I'm going to assume the page takes me to the same place, but I'm going to go here to say, look at this page. And so I see print parts, the best place to hire 3D printers and makers from all over the world. I think that's a good line. I would test it on a few people. I wonder, do people understand like what it means? Like, what does it mean to hire a 3D printer? Is that just I send you a design and you print it out and send it back to me? I'm not quite sure I understand exactly what I'm getting or what the benefit is. I do understand sign up now for early access and you could win a MakerBot 3D. That I get. It's a great incentive. But I don't necessarily get with this line or the two lines at the top. Are you just shipping me designs back? Am I working with somebody to produce a part? Like, what is the service that you're doing going to provide? I think you can make that a little bit clearer. I would try 3 or 4 different lines. This is the most important bit of copy on your page. And so it's really critical, I think, that that people who have heard of 3D printing understand what aspect of the 3D printing service you're providing here. If my kid's toy breaks, will you replace the toy, the toy part? Like what is it that you're providing? We can go down and see if I get a little bit. Okay, so this is a little bit about the launch contest. So want to win a MakerBot 3D launch contest, sign up and enter. Want to win a MakerBot 3D, I would be very clear about what you want. Add your email address, as interested, that you're interested, or tell us you're interested in 3D printers. Like, want to win a MakerBot 3D. Are you interested in 3D printers? Sign up and enter our launch, our launch campaign. Because again, this doesn't really tell you what you're giving away. So you're describing the contest, and I really think about weaving in a little bit more in these boxes that are below the copy about what your service is going to be. It's great to have some details of the contest. It's more important, I think, to also describe what you're doing. And so now let's see if the next section does it. Get beta access and exclusive discounts. It still doesn't really say what you're doing. The more friends you refer, the sooner you'll get access. Okay, that's pretty obvious. Move up the waiting list by referring more friends. Get 5 friends and you're in. Still doesn't really. I would take a box of content and just explain more about what you're doing, and then rewrite this line at the top once you have a longer explanation below about what you're doing. I think you've given a great incentive. You've described the contest really well. It's just missing asking for that incentive. So let's sign up and say, I need to print parts. And again, this is where I think people as founders and people building the pages, you all have a lot of context the person visiting the page doesn't have. And so it's what's obvious to you is not obvious to everyone else. All right, so print parts. This is, as opposed to the other waitlist page, they're going with putting the brand on here, which is a good thing. Telling people you've been added to the waitlist. I would say the waitlist for what? What am I waiting for? Am I winning the contest? Am I enter the waitlist? I see check out your full stats below. And then you've got refer 3 of your friends to enter the launch contest and be entered chance. This line I would honestly put above here. So I would switch out these 2 lines because I think the stats become obvious, the 3 stat boxes. I think what you're asking people to do, this call to action, should be almost as important as you've been out of the wait list, now refer 3 friends. It should be in large print here, like now refer 3 friends, and then it should say why you're referring 3 friends to enter the launch contest. Like you're not entered until you win it. I would make that until you get 3 friends, and I would really make that very obvious on this page. And then get beta access and exclusive discounts forever. Refer 5 friends and skip the line and get special discounts. I don't really see, so you're using the waitlist theme. I wonder if you almost wouldn't be better using the Harry Goes Viral thank you theme, because you've got a couple of levels. Like 0 is thanks, you've been added to the waitlist. 3 is you've entered the launch contest, and you've got 5 to skip the line. And the other theme we have that Mike was using from Comfortable Boxers is much more about the different levels and clearly explaining what is the reward at each level, whereas you've got a little bit of a trick when this page is really designed just to be a wait list, not really designed to tell people at 3 you're in the launch contest, at 5 you're in this. I would really think about that, about switching to the other thank you template. If you have any questions, you can always email us offline afterwards about what that would mean and how you can set that up. I think it would work better for the kind of campaign you're running, where you've got a couple of different reward levels of what you want to do here, than just a traditional, just the traditional wait list. Because you've got a great incentive. I just want to make sure that people know what it is and they know how to achieve the incentive, or how to become eligible for the incentive that they've got. All right, let's look at next page. So Izzy, do you want to tell us what page? There were lots of people in the chat here. So I think the next page I saw in the chat was buy box trial.
Cool. Yeah, that's UFC Fool, and he's providing a lot of feedback in the chat. So yeah, great page to take a look at.
All right, I'll let you lead off with his page.
Great. Okay. So taking a look, buybox.novelrank.com/trial. And and taking a look at the page, I mean, I'm not 100% familiar with the Amazon buy box. So so right away, it's offering me try it now with 10 free codes. And I'm seeing that there's two there's two call to actions on the page, one for testimonials and one to start the batch. And I'm kind of curious what this view testimonials is going to do. So I'll click it and it'll scroll me down to the testimonials. I would honestly just get rid of this call to action, and like maybe even throw one or two testimonials actually right here, right underneath the actual enter your email, try it now section. Because I mean, you really, when you're placing any kind of call to action on the page, you want it to be either a single call to action or multiple call to actions that take you to the same that lead to the same action. So if I was going to have another button here on the page, which they do, get started, hopefully this will drive me up to the form. Well, it takes me up to their top content, which is good enough. It doesn't focus on the form, but it still drives me up to this top part. But let me take a look at a little bit more of their copy, because I want to get context on the page. I want to know exactly what I'm signing up for if I do decide to sign up. So learn who is winning the Amazon buy box and quickly identify products not sold by Amazon, non-FBA items with overpriced shipping, and much more. So I would imagine that this is a page for Amazon sellers, or for people who are doing drop shipping on Amazon. I know that there's like a company called Startup Bros, and they do and they promote a lot about selling on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's related with that. USC Fool, if you could provide some feedback in the chat with us, as to exactly who this page is for. Like I said, I believe this is for Amazon merchants and for people doing drop shipping, but it's not 100% clear to me. And let me see. And like I said, this testimonial is just so brief, and it's so buried, at the bottom, that testimonials do really well when they're next to an actual form. So A/B testing, maybe placing a testimonial right underneath here, where instead of the view testimonials sign up button, call to action button, just place a little bit of this text here. It doesn't have to have an image because it's not even the person's face here. So I mean, it could just be the text. Let me take a look at the other testimonials. Okay, well, I mean, I guess these testimonials are somewhat trustworthy. I mean, looking at a baby's face, I don't know how trustworthy a child would be as far, for a testimonial. Obviously, this is probably like a customer's child, but it helps putting real faces. I mean, real faces help to actually convert people. This guy's kind of like buried in the back, and he has like a cup over his face. That doesn't make the page feel trustworthy. I don't know, Josh, if do we have any metrics on how faces tend to actually convert? I know that I've done some research doing like background images and stuff like that, but do you have any metrics on how faces can actually help convert?
I don't have any stats to share. I just know that people tend, like all the research suggests that people in images tend to convert more than images of just places and things or pictures of something. I wouldn't necessarily say it's going to give you a 10% boost, but I would certainly put a face with any text that's a testimonial. I would certainly attach a face to it.
Cool. Okay, and UCF Fool, he's actually saying that that it is for Amazon sellers, and so just imagine getting 10,000 UPC codes about your products. So definitely, it's you're definitely providing value.
You should say that on the page.
Exactly.
The page should say that.
Exactly. I mean, you're definitely providing tons of value, and nowhere here is it saying that I could get access to those 10,000 codes to learn more about my products, to learn more about which products I should be selling. It's just, here to tell me, there's no benefits. All it's telling me is just like the actual features, which is data returned. Okay, it's just, I'm just getting information. Okay, so what can I actually do with that data? People are smart, but I also like to say that people online are kind of dumb. Like, you have to kind of tell them what exactly they'll be getting with your products, what kind of benefits they'll be getting, because the original code you provide will be associated with that item. Okay, but what's the benefit of that? You know, the group is a larger category for your item. Easily identify items in the wrong category.
Yeah, explain it to me as if I'm a golden retriever.
Yeah, exactly.
You really have to train people that, especially with a complex product for a specific niche, you really should say, you know, hey, you know, almost like a sales letter. I'm picturing your page, like redoing it, like saying, like, hey, Amazon wholesaler, ever get 10,000 UPC codes? Like, want to know which ones sell best? Like, you could say that text right on the page and then get into your copy that says, try it with 10 free codes now, and get the results. I would also, that call to action on the page, I really would, instead of this view testimonials, I would really push people for the trying it now to get to see the results. You have dueling kind of call to actions. You have the one on the left of view testimonials, and you have the one on the right, which is start batch. I would really consider focusing on the one on the right because it captures your email address, but maybe putting them in one line so it just sort of reads like a letter instead of a left or right of the page dividing your attention with two different calls to action.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I think that's pretty much all my feedback. Should we sign up on the page, Josh? Let's take a look.
Yeah, go ahead.
Alrighty. Well, I don't know what to put in my test batch, but I'll go ahead and just place that. Amazon US. Okay, so they're catering to pretty much Amazon in all of the world. I'm wondering if you have you know, different landing pages in different languages, because you know, Amazon is very popular in many parts of the world, so something to consider. Thanks for giving us a free try. So they'll be added to my test batch, and I'll get the email soon. And here, you know, there's no incentive for, you know, for me to share with like-minded sellers. I'm sure that, you know, the Amazon seller community is a very tight-knit community. From what I've seen, I have a couple friends who actually do some selling on Amazon, and it's a very tight-knit community. So I mean, just even providing just a simple Facebook, Twitter share button, you know, something like that. I have no idea what happened there. It just jumped. I didn't do anything, but and that was kind of strange. But anyways, like I said, you know, placing some kind of share button, and like I said, I have no idea what happened. It just all of a sudden it jumped.
It's a time thing. It happened on my page too after I sent it. So
obviously it's a time thing, but that kind of customer experience, you know, sending people to a page without warning them, is also kind of like, it's also a bad practice. You should
totally be a KickoffLabs customer, and you could have viral sharing at the end of your process, and we could build it into the existing pages. We could build in new pages in the thank you email you send out. You'll get 35 to 50% more leads coming through, especially, like as he said, when you have a niche community that is very loud and vocal. I think you could really explode your launch list or your product, your customer list with some virality here. But all right, let's move on. Who else do we have in the chat that's actually here in the chat? Okay, I see Law Docs and Essex Web Design Studio. So let me look at Essex Web Design from Adam Wiggins. And I believe I have that page already on my screen when I switch back to me.
Where's the call to action?
There we go. Yeah, that was the first thing. Like, I got this page, I'm like, wow, that's a pretty picture. I'm not going to wait for text to scroll across the page to tell me what it is. So again, I really would avoid scrolling text. I would put it all in one line, this thing that you have where it just says blank, welcome to the Essex Web Design Studio. Wait a second, responsive websites at affordable prices. All one line, static, no scrolling. Second bit, it's impossible to see this learn more button down here. Like, I know you have a beautiful image, but white puffy clouds with white text is hard to read, especially if I'm standing back or I'm older and I need to reach for my reading glasses, and you're somebody who wants to hire somebody else to do websites for them. Just make it more obvious, and the call to action is buried, and your call to action is learn more. Oh, so I scroll down. Okay, website design in Chelmsford, Essex. And again, this is something where, like, there's this trend of just keeping all the information off of the first page. And I really wouldn't, because there's something to be said for finding somebody who's local. And so you kind of know that, and you're saying, like, we're in Chelmsford, Essex, like Essex web design for people in Chelmsford, like at affordable rates. It doesn't have to be this for it. People obviously outside of that can do it. The call to action to learn more, I would just have as a secondary call to action at the bottom. What do you really want people to do here? You want customers. You probably want people to, let me scroll down to what you really want people to do. Aha, contact us, this last page here. Like, this is what you really want people to do, right? Why isn't that your call to action up here, or at least one of the calls to action? That's what you really want people to do. Second, if you're coming down this way and you've got this menu up here, this contact us should be a huge button. It should be orange. It should stand out, so that when you're scrolling, reading the rest of the copy, even if you're going to leave the form at the bottom, you never know what piece of copy on a page is going to get people to convert. Like, I might be scrolling, and then I see this, this clients, like below are a handful of clients. I might say, oh, Glassy Glitter, like, I know them. I want to use your service too, because I know that you did a good job on their site. Where do I sign up? And it should be orange right there, like in their face, like, contact us, like, get us to do your site. Because you don't know, like, this could have convinced me. This could have convinced me. You know, when you've got a longer form page, you're not exactly sure what piece of copy is going to convince somebody. So you want to be prepared. Like, as soon as somebody says, "Yep, I'm sold," where do they click? And go to that location. You just got a basic contact form, a phone number. I don't know. It kind of, I'm all for the phone number. I would have it off to the left of the contact form of, give us your name, we'll get back to you. You're not setting expectations, like, we'll get back to you as soon as you can. It'd be nicer to say, like, we'll get back to you within 24 hours. Whenever I fill out a random contact form, I kind of want to know what the expectations are. And then when I fill it out, I should probably, get something for filling out. You got no incentive for people to sign up. You should probably have some incentive. And when I say by incentive, like, you were in the chat and you're answering somebody's questions about SEO, you have domain knowledge. You could say, like, your big call to action could be, get my 5 tips about SEO, get my 5 tips about responsive web design. Get leads that way. Don't wait for people to have a need to say, hey, I have a need for web design. I'm going to fill out your contact form. I might not have a need, but if you were giving away 5 tips for responsive web design, I'd want to see your 5 tips for web design. Start building your mailing list with an opt-in bribe. Start giving people incentive to sign up. And when they have a need, they'll remember, like, oh yeah, I need web design. Didn't I read a white paper from somebody who wrote 5 tips on responsive web design? Exactly. Like, that's what you want people to remember, because that's the moment they're ready to purchase. So in summary, put all this text on one, no more text. Really loud call to action that says, get my 5 tips on responsive web design. All this stuff you can do today. I'm sure you could have this stuff up today and changing it and come back next week for a different review. Learn more at the bottom, a little bit louder, not as loud as your primary call to action. And then, this stuff is fine. I'm not even going to get into all the details here. I'm assuming you know what you're doing and you've got some examples. Big, loud, orange contact us button over here. And then again, repeating the incentive, like, you fill this out, we'll give you these tips, and then we'll get back to you about any web design requests you want, because that sort of is obvious that you'll be doing that. All right, Izzy, do you want to tackle? Oh wait, Monal asked a question about, on the first page, why not just having the email box sign up directly instead of just the button? And that's a great point. I would always tell people there's some psychology to it, and there's some case studies that say, when you get people to click the button, then you do a pop-up, then they're more likely to convert than if you just had the email address directly. I don't necessarily think that works for everybody. Somebody else's case study is just that. It's somebody else's case study. We tend to see more conversions on pages that ask for the email right up front without clicking through the button. It's not that it's a bad strategy. It's just that it's worth finding out. And especially when you're not asking for much information, you're only going to ask for an email address, and you've got a great incentive for people to sign up. you don't need a psychological trick of getting people to say yes on the first button and taking that first step to the second step. When we do have forms that are built that way, obviously the page was built using a KickoffLabs form, but I would just consider, if it's a clear incentive, a clear motivation, people will just enter their email address in the box, and it saves a step of a click on the box. I know that's not a concrete answer. You probably want me to say, yes, always have a box, or yes, always have a click through for before people to sign up. No, I think every audience is different. And I think either can be done to work, but I think if you're only going to ask for an email address and you have a great incentive, just make it easiest for me to sign up. And the easiest way for me to sign up is if the box is right there on the page. That would be my advice. Going through the chat to see who else we have here. So Izzy, do you want to look at law docs?
Sure, let's take a look at law docs. And I know that a lot of people in the chat that would like us to look at their pages, so we're going to get through as many of them as possible. Now, I hope I'm on the right law docs. Is it law docs with an X, with an S? I'm sorry.
With an X, I thought. Law docs. Let me see. He was up here in the chat.
Yeah, sorry about that. Hopefully I'm looking at the right one.
Yeah, it's that one with the X.
An XS? I'm sorry, Josh?
Yeah, I think that's it right there. It's the logo I recognize, yeah.
Okay, alrighty. Okay, so law docs. I do recall that we reviewed this page, and it looks as if it changed quite a bit. I mean, it's a pretty good page. I'm not seeing any kind of incentive on the page. Personalized legal documents to safeguard your family and business. So they're just a provider of legal documentation. Starting your S corp, starting a corporation. But all I'm seeing here is like learn more about wills, learn more about corps. Okay.
I think the biggest piece of feedback we had for them last time was that it wasn't obvious what the service was and who it was for. And I feel like looking at this page, they've made a tremendous improvement in explaining the offering.
I agree.
I just think what's missing is right below that documents you can believe in should say like a button that says get started now that takes me to like a form or whatever the call to action is. And then each of those feature boxes, so if you scroll down to the feature boxes there, should probably, instead of just saying learn more, it should just say like start now, like start your corporation, start your deed transfer. Instead of learn more, it should just be the quick call to action that gets people to the next step of what you're doing, because you probably want to get their email address, you want to sign them up for something. So I would think about that as a change. Otherwise, I think the changes of the page are seem fairly dramatic to what they compared to what they showed before, and dramatic in a good way.
Yes, exactly. Dramatic in a good way. The page is very, very well designed. Very few law offices have such a beautiful web page. So we do commend you on that. I'm noticing that they do having like a newsletter subscribe here, but there's no real incentive for actually signing up to those newsletters. Just saying stay connected. You can offer just free tips for well, since you have a different kind of segments, I would actually kind of separate that out into each customer segment. So like providing the five best tips for living trust and wills, and then the 5 best tips for S corps, and the 5 best tips for deeds, and so on, and kind of like segmenting your newsletter like that, and that way you can get a better idea of what your largest customer segment is, and how to serve them better, which is something that we're trying to do here at KickoffLabs, and it's really well worth it. It's going to benefit your business in the long run. I think that's pretty much all the feedback. I mean, it's a great page. Everything is very tailored towards their audience. So great page.
Yeah, it just needs to be clear like what the next step is. Like I should look at the page and not only know what it's about, which you solve that part of it, but know what I do next, and what you want me to do next should be very obvious. So Izzy, I think you said we do the Water Today page next. Which page is that?
It is watertoday.ca.
Watertoday.ca.
Not really much of a landing page, but go ahead and give some feedback on the page, Josh. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Let me make sure that people can see my screen this time. All right,
Yep.
water today. Sign up for free water alerts. There's this kind of newspapery feeling to it. Um, yeah, your goal is probably to get people to sign up. It's not obvious that's a button when you just use black on the page as a link. Black doesn't really call as a link. The things that look like links on the page are this red. You're just calling it as an alert, like water shortage. I would just really simple changes. Things that should be links, make them blue. Things that should be, a big call to action, make it a button. Like this sign up for water alerts is probably what you want people to do. You're getting them to register. I guess my big thing is like I don't really like this 3-column look just because I don't really know where to look. Like your eyes go to this page and you say where should I be looking on the page, and it's not obvious what you want them to do unless we said on the last page like it should be obvious what the page is, which I think the top makes it fairly obvious, saying water today, sign up for free water alerts. And then you've got some breaking news. So clearly you've got like advisories in different locations. But I would really make it obvious. And you're for residents of Canada. I would really say like water today. We deliver water alerts. Like say what you are loudly below it and center the text. Water today, and then below it should be free water alerts for people who live in Canada. And then I would say examples of recent alerts. And then I would just have a single column of some of these alerts that came across recently. And then just each one should have that call to action, like get this in real time. Sign up today to get people to your sign up page. The other thing is like everything looks kind of squeezed at the top, like this menu. You could just deal with a little bit more space, everything on the page. And then when I click sign up, you've got a whole lot of information like getting alerts. And I suppose if you're going to use the information, collect it. Like if you need to know the municipality, the state, the zip code, that's fine. But I would really consider the amount of required information to get people to sign up. It's a large form. It's a lot of information. You're requiring first name, last name. The only thing you don't require is organization, phone, fax, and mobile. But even having those fields, even if they're not required, makes it feel like the form is more intimidating. And honestly, like, are you faxing people these alerts? Like, do you need a fax number? Just cut that one. Do you need a phone and mobile? Just cut that one. Leave it with phone. Country, could you pre-fill it with Canada because that's your target? Do you need to know the organization? Cut this. Do you need to know my last name? Cut it. Do you need to know my first name? No, you don't. You just need to know my email address to send me email. Do I have to set up a password? These are questions you should ask. Like if your goal is to get more people to sign up, you have to ask these hard questions about, do you need all of this information to deliver your service? And you really need to think about only asking for the minimal amount of information that you're going to use to deliver your service if you want to improve the conversion rate of people signing up. I really think you could double your conversion rate just halving this form. If you can half the size of this form, you'll double your conversion rate in this case. You want to really see it go up, make it clear that this sign up for water alerts is what you want people to do by having it on its own line, not up here on the right, having it look like a button, and simplifying the look of this page. That's my feedback there. So where are we at next, Izzy? Who's next in line?
One sec. Well, we had quite a few people in line.
Who's here live? That's in line? Yeah.
I know Eddie Diaz said do one of mine, but Eddie, could you share your page because I can't find your page?
Yeah, which one of the pages do you want us to look at, Eddie? Oh yeah, Kuwait.
Kuwait, that was it. Yeah, exactly.
In the meantime, I'll go with Kuwait. That's not Eddie's page. It's
okay, cool. Eddie, could you please share your page?
But Eddie, share your page. Which one I know you submitted a couple, but pick which one you want us to look at. We won't have time to look at a whole bunch of them. Kuwait. Okay, so we looked at this. We looked at this last time. I still think I'm not going to translate it. I think there's still too much text. There's not obvious I'm getting to the form down here. I think I said that before. You've got way too much text above the form. Some of this text could be below the form. This form button doesn't stand out. It should kind of map to this red, the cherry button here. I'm not even going to look at what the headline is. I'll assume that your headline is good. I'll go to sign up and see what happens. So I get taken to a thank you page, which is great. It's a KickoffLabs thank you page. This is what I was mentioning earlier with the different levels, and this is how you could map different levels to different rewards with KickoffLabs. And so they've got different levels matched to different rewards, which is great. I haven't referred anybody, which is sad, but I assume that there's prizes at each level. Again, it feels like there's just a lot of copy for what you need in places where you could use some of this bottom text for the copy, whereas this kind of just feels like a duplicate where it's saying five friends gets this, 10 friends gets this, and it feels like a duplicate of what you have in here, which isn't really needed as much, where you could use that space, this space, to give people some extra copy in the location. So first page, I should see the call to action above the fold. It's not. The call to action should be bright and red to match this brand color, so it stands out more. Think about that. Think about those changes, and I think you'll dramatically improve the conversion rate. Who else? Did Eddie share his page here? Eddie. Cool. Is it EN? There's an English version, but I still think the same feedback applies. Yeah, the same feedback applies. The text is still the same length. It's not a translation issue on the page.
How about we take a look at Entendre, which is Monal's page. We've been meaning to take a look at this one for quite a while.
Can you open it and start?
Sure. Okay, so Entendre, I do recall that we've taken a look at this page before. It was a different iteration, if I'm not mistaken. So here we're looking, try at home, buy online, jewelry made simple. Okay. Looks like a nicely designed page. This is one of our newer themes. So it's just like, so everything is meant to fit exactly onto the page. I'm noticing here that the form just drops up just a little bit higher. Might be some issues with the actual theme. We can help you troubleshoot that and optimize everything for mobile. But it's a very simple page. Sign up now. I'm not too convinced with the sign up now call to action because it doesn't really fit with like the try at home, buy online, jewelry made simple. I mean, maybe the actual call to action you could change it for something like try on jewelry now, or something that's just more related to.
If you're gonna be buying it, like send me my first. We'll send your first piece for free, or we'll try out the service for free. Like something, there has to be some incentive here for an e-commerce type solution that gets people to sign up. Because if you're going to be asking someone to buy something, they're going to be even more skeptical than if you're just giving them something for free. But if you're saying, if you sign up now for early access and a 10% discount on your first order, or free shipping to start the service, like something like that, some form of incentive, I think would really increase the conversion rate. Otherwise, I really do love the picture. I love the spacing. I love how the text is in the middle. It's super readable. It explains the service in 3 lines.
Yep. So let's go ahead and sign up on the page. But pretty much that's exactly what I was going to mention, that there's no real incentive on the page. There's no discount, no free shipping. But let's see what happens when I sign up. So they're not using any of our thank you pages. It's just it's the built-in thank you. It just says, welcome to Entendre. Please help us out by spreading the word. Share with one of your friends and we'll give you priority access. See, so that's the incentive that that should be on your page. If that you could get priority access, or you could get we'll waive your styling fee. So
they've got a ton of incentive. Like
yeah, they do.
I went to they got a ton of incentive they could put on the first page, but I went to go leave the page to get ready for the next one, and I got the KickoffLabs exit intent widget, and it says win a 500 signature Entendre piece. Like, why isn't that screaming below the form or right above the form? Like, sign up now and enter to win a $500 piece of jewelry. Like, that should be incentive right there. And it's a good contest because it's related to the brand. Like, I wouldn't enter if I didn't care about the jewelry or want the piece. It's not like you're giving away an iPad. You're asking people that would care about this kind of designer jewelry, they're going to enter to win it. These are potential customers. put that on the page, scream about that. Don't just wait for I'm about to leave the page and say, oh, by the way, we're giving away a $500 piece of jewelry. Like, no, put that on the page. And then when they go to leave, say, did you know you're missing out on entering this contest? All we needed was your email address. I would really consider, changing, how you're presenting. And then as you point out, there's even other incentives below. So pick one. I think this contest is the best one. The second page could explain some more incentives. You could use one of our dedicated thank you pages, I think, to make that really obvious what you're doing for people at different levels. There are 5 minutes left. Izzy, who do we have that has submitted a page next that's in the chat here?
We have 4 stylers. I already have 4stylers.com open. The number 4.
Why don't you start with their page then?
Great. Okay. So 4stylers.com. I really don't know what this page is about, to be honest with you. I mean, I see an image of a dog with sunglasses and gloves. Okay. So let me see, because you never have too much style. So is this for my pets? Is this for me? Is this a fashion? Yeah. I'm looking at its wardrobe ideas. So obviously it is for fashion. If I go a little bit further down, if I actually made it all the way down through this text, I finally found out. Okay, so it's a new fashion community based on mobile app. Okay, based on a mobile app. I would check the spelling there, check the actual copy for free and by invitation only. Okay, this page doesn't really excite me. Doesn't really scream fashion to me. I would really try to place some images that actually show like a catwalk, or show somebody designing clothing, or a closet, something that screams fashion. Because if people happen to land on this page, they're going to see an image of a dog, and they're like, well, I don't have a dog, and I was really here for fashion. This doesn't apply to me. I'm clicking away. So you got to be careful with that. You have to provide the best image possible and the best copy possible first. And I'm not sure about this headline. I mean, I think it could be improved, because you can never have too much style. And then it says, hi, what do you want? I would really try to play around with that copy. Just try to make it flow a little bit more. If you really do love this page, I mean, you are using KickoffLabs, I would actually just A/B test it against either a new design or actually changing some of the elements. Like I said, changing some of the copy, making it super noticeable that it's a fashion community. Just telling people right away, and that would be my feedback.
Yeah, I agree, Izzy. There's I always feel like there's this thing we see in pages that's a trend where people, as they write copy down the page, they get better and better at explaining what they do as they go down the page. And so, like, I think that's clearly the case here, because that thing about a new fashion community based on a mobile app. I mean, it's maybe not the best copy, but this is the first time you really explained like what it was for. This question type thing is a good idea, but I would only do it after you led with, at the top of the page, 4styler is a fashion community for people that can never have too much style in their lives. Like, then you can lead with this kind of question and answer stuff where you're getting people to say yes, 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 like that's for me, that's for me, that's for me, and then like the incentive for what for why you should join. And I also agree with Izzy, just the general feel of the page. It feels like it's I don't know. I'm just gonna say it. It's gonna sound horrible. It feels like it's an app for dogs or dog sunglasses. I don't know. It doesn't feel very like the stylish aspect of it. It needs a background image that it imbues style. The image within the phone should probably be something about style besides
Josh,
a dog. Yeah.
Josh, can you try and hover away from the page? Take a look at the bounce widget.
I must have already.
I just closed it. Yeah, I just closed it. And actually, it was a great incentive. It's like a free selfie stick. So you could take selfie pictures with. It's like one of those extension sticks.
Yep.
And that's a great incentive, and it's like super hidden.
Yeah, like if you have incentives, show people. Put it loud, front and center. Okay. I'm gonna go to the next page from Eddie, who's here, and Eddie says. I left this page up because it was a great use of the exit intent widget. So he used an image on the side to get people to pay attention to the exit intent widget. So I had gone to leave the page, and it was like, stop right there. It's a guy with like hands up, like, don't go, get some useful info on no down payments. I might say like, this
Nice.
like get useful info should probably all be in bold, like, as like a headline or something in this area, like don't go yet, get useful, and like make that all bold. And then like get me down payment info should be like the call to action here. But I love the image on the side. There's just like stop right there to get people to take notice of the page. Looking at this page, the thing that got me was there's a lot of blue images coming back here, like with this house, and this blue button doesn't really stand out. I guess that's green, it stands out. Really think of a color for these things that are going to contrast with the images that are here. And then there's not really a text of like, more than just this buy a home at the top. I would really think about like, is it possible to, maybe we could help with this, like moving some of this copy up a little higher on the page. I know this theme originally was meant to have like a video here, like a video player. So it was meant to kind of highlight the images and get people to click the video. But you need a little bit more of an explanation of what the purpose of this page is, why somebody should sign up in a line or two at the top. Then why should I click early access? And then maybe moving this page up, making this this image just a little bit smaller so that it sees like, okay, you're about down payment assistance covered. And those things a little bit more up top of the page. I might even just say like a static image, just this one, the one with the cash that showed there. Like I think a fistful of cash, if you're going to go with like comparing to like faces, probably also gets people's attention too. And then you have less complexity in terms of figuring out the color, the proper color for this button. But that fistful of cash with the home in the background is probably ties in with your message of what you're trying to go with there. Izzy, do you have anything?
No, I don't think so. It's a pretty good page. Having some screenshots.
Let's see. All right, and it goes to a thank you page. Share content is highly encouraged. Yeah, it's highly encouraged, but it doesn't really say why it's highly encouraged. There were other people who had thank yous that were truly highly encouraged. I'm not seeing how this is highly encouraged because you're not giving me anything for sharing the page. So could you actually give somebody something for referring? Consider an actual reward there. All right, is there anybody in the chat that we didn't actually get to that's in the chat? All right, I don't see anybody that submitted a page. If you're in the chat, we didn't get to your landing page, send us email. We'll take a look. We're also going to make sure that we got a lot of great pages submitted, so we're going to send a list of some pages we're going to look at that we'll look at next week. And we'll go through some of the backlog of pages in the chat next week. If you're just in the audience, I think you'll still get something useful out of it. I think people are participating. I saw a lot of great conversation today, which was awesome. I saw a lot of good feedback going back and forth. I love to see that in these chats that we do. This was apparently a popular week to get page reviews, so we'll get through a backlog next week as well. We'll do another round of landing page reviews. So hang tight. If you didn't get it, send us an email if you were participating. We can get to more in the future. All right, so if you were watching this and you are not a Kickoff Labs customer, Kickoff Labs is the quick and easy way to build viral campaigns and get new customers. So you saw some examples of people running our viral campaigns today. We make all that extremely easy to set up, and that's our goal, is to make it so you can just drop a form, drop a button, build a landing page, send people to a viral thank you page. And that technique of thinking about it, not just about a landing page and a click-through, but thinking about it as a campaign really works. Think about the context of somebody, if they came from an ad, if they're coming from a blog post, they get to your landing page, it's part of the campaign. How does it fit? What is the job of that landing page? Then after they sign up, you've got somebody that's engaged. Could you ask them to share? What should they be doing next for you? Is that something that you could facilitate, you could encourage, you could build a contest around like you saw some people doing today? We make that really easy, and it really does improve the conversion rate. Last month, and we haven't published the stats for month-to-month stats for a while, last month, over half of the leads we captured at Kickoff Labs came from people clicking a referral link. So if you wonder why should we have a referral link on the thank you page, or why should we encourage people to share, it's because literally half of the leads people are capturing are coming from people clicking those share links. It's why we believe in it. It's why we push it. It's why we try to get people thinking beyond just a single landing page and beyond a landing page and thinking about a smarter campaign. I'm going to leave you with that. Try out Kickoff Labs. We think it's a great product. There's a lot of people using the product in today's chat. But if you're not using the product, give us a try. Let me know what you think. We love feedback. I'm Josh at KickoffLabs.com. Izzy is Izzy at KickoffLabs.com. You can always email support@KickoffLabs.com. We'll always give you our 2 cents on your pages. Have a great day. Have a great rest of the week, and have a great weekend, folks.